Hey Brendan, would you mind telling us what we're doing? Sure. This is the Hammerbarn Project. And Frank,
Yes, Brendan.
would you mind telling me how you are?
I am good, thank you, Brendan. How far are you?
Well, and Martin,
Yes, Brendan.
would you mind telling me who else we have here doing the Hammerbarn Project with us today?
Well, Brendan, maybe they can introduce themselves.
Oh,
Hello,
Hey!
it's Allie. Which Allie, you ask? Yes, there are two Allies.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's been here the longest.
Oh, excellent. Oh man, I didn't expect. Just
so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad for me, but
Yeah.
like,
This episode of the Hammerbarn Project is called Book Flip.
Ali's here. Yay! It is, as we mentioned in our last episode, still a bit tricky to get interstate. And so while we had this little peach of a peach in the state, we thought we'd get her on the podcast again. And how glad we are to have you again, Ali.
Aw, thanks, Brenny.
No worries. You little peach of a peach.
peach of a peach.
Yeah.
That one's going to stick around.
Yeah,
isn't it?
unfortunately. But yeah, this is what we do. We get together. I get together with my friends. My friends get together with my mutual friends, and it's the three of us. And then we get together with our friends' partners. Sometimes Ali, some other times Ali, and
Hey.
and it's great. And what we do is we talk about an episode of Bluey because it's the best.
Correct.
What particular episode?
This episode of Bluey is called Boiga Shop.
Boiga Shop.
Boiga.
Boiga.
Yeah, so this is season 2, episode 32, so kind of right in the middle there. The name is pretty straight up what this is all about. Sometimes the names of these episodes get a little bit, obtuse, but this one is pretty much what it is. Marty, would you care to give us the bare bones?
Okay, well, this episode is pretty clearly a socio-cultural exploration of fast food culture, but I think itself as a metaphor for current consumption and credit-based society, where we really, whether we actually have any real choice. So we've got Bandit here, unable to avoid purchasing something he doesn't really want, and of course he has to go borrow and go into debt in order to purchase the burgers he doesn't need, and the disinterest of the bank in how the money will be spent, perhaps an allusion to the global financial crisis that we experienced a few years ago. And also the attractiveness of add-on sales and the innate desire for completeness and collecting,
always the way.
but inevitably leaving you being completely absorbed, subsumed, you could say, into the system itself, becoming labor powering the machinations of this behemoth. So yes, it's really about being unable to make the right choice due to societal pressures within this system. No, it's not.
No, that's got to be one of your
Okay.
longest ones,
Yeah,
right?
almost. The other one where I said similar chronic, that's probably the other one.
Yeah, that's a personal
but
favourite.
no, what is it? The Bandit's trying to get the kids to get out of the bath because he's read a new book about parenting, and they're just not gonna. They're gonna keep on playing.
It's just not gonna.
They're not gonna. They're gonna keep on playing Burger Shop.
But hey,
Says it all.
the burgers are better at the Boiga Shop, right? Like,
Burgers are better at the Boiga Shop. That amplified whisper. Ugh.
So this is probably something that I imagine a lot of families have encountered, where one parent, particularly in an age where information is everywhere, easily accessible on the internet, some of it vetted, a lot of it not, where they can say, hey, this parenting book says I should be doing A, B, C, D. And that tends to mess with the current parenting ecosystem. Bandit is the one who is on a kick here, which, again, sort of bucks with what might be the stereotype in this scenario. A lot of other shows would have the mum as being the one who has read the book and wants to try this, left of the middle type solution, whereas Bandit goes, no, the book says they have to make their own decisions. And even Chili is just like, oh yeah, let's see how that
Let's see how
goes.
that
Like
goes.
she's
Eye roll.
ultimately, very
I think
sarcastic.
Yeah,
interesting
when she
because-
leaves.
Good luck.
Even in this show, it could have been a character swap, really. And I think there's something about that.
Why
It
not?
could have,
Yeah.
It could have been Chili in the other position of like, no, Bandit, we're not going to do it that. We're going to try and.
And it
do
could have
this
been
thing a
Bandit
different
just
way.
checking out and going, well, do what you're going to do, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. And I think, one could argue like, oh, that doesn't show consistent characters, but I think it shows like the consistency
Reality.
of family. Yeah, it really shows reality.
I know that last episode, Ali, we name-checked Lee Salles because she was in the last episode that we talked about. But was this episode another choice of yours that we should review?
It was a choice of mine, less so for the cameos, but just I was interested in the whole idea of setting boundaries and how you set boundaries for your kids. And my favourite line of the whole episode was, "The book says."
Yeah.
I mean, it is such a trap for new parents when you haven't done it before and you're like, oh, but the book says. And you fall down this rabbit hole of, oh, the book says they should be sleeping this much, or we should start solids then, or I need to do this, or I need to do that.
Yeah, and it's almost straight up an admission that it's not really your approach and you're not really, I don't know, you're kind of...
You're not taking ownership of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's kind of rather than, no, we should do this, it's almost like at the moment you say the book says, it's kind of like you're holding this thing up as knowing more than you do. I don't know. This is the not parent saying this, so you guys teach me.
It's even the thing of just like, if it's not working, it's me and not the book.
Okay.
I think that's more so they're like, oh, if the book says this, then there must be something wrong with my situation.
I'm not
or
following the instructions.
I'm not following the instructions close
Right.
enough. As opposed to responding to the feedback that you get and know, because, you know, you are inevitably the person who knows your children.
And I think for new parents, it does cause a lot of anxiety and stress because perhaps as a society we have lost contact with a lot of other people having babies. Like, we don't have big families, except for you, Brendan.
The exception that proves the rule.
Yeah. So often when we have a kid, it's the first time we've really been in close proximity to a new baby. So we don't know what is normal and we're looking for other advice. So, you know, when you're feeding in the middle of the night and you're scrolling on Instagram trying to find out, gee, is this normal? What's going on? Or you're reading the parenting books and you're like, well, hang on, this book says I should be doing that. And it does cause you a lot of stress. So I think it took me a long time as a parent to be able to drown out that noise, to try and find voices that aligned with my parenting values.
Yeah.
And then go, oh, hang on, I don't think I like what that person's saying. That's not the right advice for me. And just leave it. And I think I wish I'd trusted that earlier.
Yeah, and also it's not like, I mean, I imagine it's not like black and white, and some books would preach an approach that would work perfectly for some people, and it's not that they're wrong if they don't work perfectly for other people, but asking someone to take on a certain style if it doesn't match with their personality, that's a bad idea. So I suppose that it's good that there's that much information out there, but yeah, you've got to exercise what works best because you can't change you. And
more to the point, you can't change your child.
Yeah.
And I think that the thing that I would say to a new parent is no book on parenting is correct, because it's not about your child, and it takes time to learn what your child is like and what they do and don't want to do and how they behave and what their temperament is like. And so really any book is wrong all the time.
I think you can certainly take elements, maybe they come at it from an angle you hadn't considered, but then to your point, Ali, don't stress yourself out when it doesn't work or it differs from, what's written down, and you can take those elements and blend them into, your situation, your family, your children, and then make your own style and write your own damn book.
Exactly. Back to the point of Bandit reading the book, I actually had a sort of another take on it. Frankie, how many parenting books have you read?
Not many, admittedly.
Is it more than 0?
It's pretty close to 0.
Marty, how many parenting books have you read?
This is what I was terribly afraid of.
This is what I was hoping for.
No, I haven't really read them.
And the thing that sort of happens in our household, maybe it happens in yours, is that I read the parenting books and then I say to Marty, hey, I think you should read this one. Or, hey, look at this one. Has not ever happened.
Well, Ali gives me a really nice summary. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Let's go with that. And now I don't have to read the book.
I'm on the same page, Marty. I could almost picture my Ali saying those exact same words to me. So I feel you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Oh man, this is the best.
when we're getting one of your, like someone who can give you,
exactly.
we got to get
When's
anything.
Aaron
Yeah,
coming in?
I've got to
Come
get
on.
Erin involved. She's one of my siblings that I've mentioned more than any of the others, probably because, we live together at the moment. And She's the best.
I think we get Kelly on. She's a firecracker, and she will not hesitate to take you down.
Yeah, no, she won't.
Erin, I love Erin. She's a little bit too nice.
Okay, interesting.
I think Kelly's the one
Interesting
to
that
just
you
be
should say
like,
that.
Brendan, stop talking.
They would both disagree with me in different ways. I think, no, maybe you're onto something, because Erin would go, and maybe chat to me afterwards, but Kelly would have a great way of going, really? I don't know. Maybe
So
it
you're
would play
pressing
out
that
differently.
pause button. Pause.
I've got so many
think-
options to choose from, though. I'll get back to you on which sibling should come in.
I think what might have happened is that maybe Chili has read the book and said to Bandit, look, I think there are some good points here and here. Maybe check these ones out. And maybe Bandit has finally got around to having a read.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
takes
that's
it too seriously.
And it kind of goes back to we know magazines, because it was an episode we've already talked about. We've done Takeaway, haven't we?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
It goes back to the thing that's not important to anybody. It's a very dad thing, because nothing's important. That's all right. She'll be right. And then when dad finds something this is very stereotypical, but when dad finds something that's important, it should be important to everybody. And it's just like
not leaving without spring rolls.
Yeah. It's sort of like dad doing that again. Like, I'm sure there's countless parenting books or something, especially when they were newer parents. They probably weren't as experienced, so they're just looking for whatever help they can get. Then Bandit just on a whim finds this thing and just go, no,
This is it.
this is it.
This is
This
fun.
is what I will do now. And I think there might be, my take on it was there might be a little something of that Chili's just kind of having a little private chuckle about, like, okay, yeah, I'll have this thing and see how that goes, because I gave him all these others and he didn't really.
I think there's a bit of an eye roll going on there.
Yeah.
It is a fun episode, though. You start with
man.
the funky sax.
Yeah,
As you come in,
I was
it's
good.
like
If
a
you didn't
really,
mention
like-
that, I would. Just
Yeah,
the little
like-
lead-in establishing shot is
Yeah,
done
it's
on
really
the
nice.
sax.
And I like it's another, surprisingly, it doesn't feel like it, but as a bottle episode, because it all takes place in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good
but you don't feel that because it takes place in a Hungry Jack's driving
Yeah,
line.
that is interesting.
And there's a
yeah.
couple of cuts there, but I really love just in that establishing shot. Actually, one of the things like for real life is he's crouched in the corner in the bathroom reading the book.
Yeah.
Which is so true when you're a parent. Like, your bathroom isn't a place you're meant to hang out.
No.
It's just like, you go in there to do something and then you leave. But when you're like bathing someone or in there hanging out with someone, there's nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
So you just end up like
On the
crouched
ground.
somewhere.
Yeah, they're not
or,
really
like,
designed for parents, I don't imagine.
No,
they're kind of
probably
designed
not.
for everybody else.
Yeah.
And Marty, how often do you do bath time?
Oh, man.
we
That's a spicy meatball.
I would love to do bath time more.
Oh, man.
That's the way we shared it.
When I get, if I should ever be so lucky to find a partner, that's the moment we stop doing this podcast. I'll always have the upper hand.
I love bath time. We do like alternating. One of us does bath,
Yeah,
one of us
nice.
does bed. But for a while, I think in the early days we were still establishing that routine. Bath time was mine and Jack's thing because he would just splash and have a great old time. And he went through a weird phase where he just hated water, and I was just like, this is what I feared from day one. But now it's just randomly happened, 12 months in sort of thing. But
Yeah.
now he's back, I do the swimming lessons with Jack, and so yeah, water time is a good time.
To defend myself, at the same time that bath time is happening, I'm doing the dishes after having usually cooked dinner. So yeah, come on, just a little bit. Give me a little bit back, please.
Should we?
Okay.
On the swimming and the splashing, lest I forget to mention it later, just the animation
she
of
goes
when
down.
when Bluey goes
Yes.
down and goes and gives the order to Bingo on the fryer,
Yeah.
and then goes back down and goes.
picks it up.
She holds the burgers and stuff above the line of the water, but then she holds her breath and just sort of slowly falls backwards whilst keeping the stuff above the water.
each time splashing
Sing
more
Bandit,
water
yeah.
over Bandit's side. And just the use of the magnetic letters to be everything in that episode.
Yes.
The
Yes.
I think I
burgers,
was-
the patties,
I actually had. I was like,
buns.
they are the.
The banker's the most
moustache.
impressive one.
The upside down
Moustache.
black T,
Yeah,
letter
for the
uppercase T for a
It's got
top
the
hat.
U as a moustache, and then
and
a
then-
blue T meant to represent like a tie.
Yeah, it's so good. I was going to ask you like what makes up the.
Oh,
the
sorry.
costume.
We ruined yours.
But I really think the foam letters are like one of the key characters in this. They just get used in so many different ways, and they provide so much juiciness to this episode because of the sort of things that you can do. Like there's the great, a couple of moments where Chili just appears, and in those shots is where they just get flung everywhere, and really, gives it that extra bit of expression. And the moments wherein Bandit's eating the fake burgers, doing the classic Cookie Monster sort of thing, and the way that they move around, you can tell that they're just foam. And the conceit of as soon as they get turned sideways, they're all just circles because that's how you can use them to make burgers. And stuff like that, despite the fact that they are letters. But as soon as they go sideways, no, that just makes a nice.
They're just
burger.
a disc. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's like a color palette change at one point when the bath starts to go cold, and they're like, "Oh, your lips are going blue. I'm a blue healer." Like, great, best line in the episode for mine. But then I think it's when Bandit ends up washing the dishes, he's grumble. It's like all the ones he's washing are now blue, like because they've been washed of their color type thing.
Nice.
It's such a beautiful touch.
I love when that is awesome, and I also love when Bandit latches on to that line of she's a blue healer when
Chili
Chili
comes
comes
back
in
to
and complains that her
defend
lips are blue. Oh, she's a blue healer.
And even as he's doing a lot of the negotiating, just going, make the right decision, time to get out of the bath. You can see him looking back over his shoulder, knowing Chili is going to fly in at any second.
For me, my favorite line's probably going, "Can you earn your keep, please?" Which is I think if not,
It's 7 o'clock. They're meant to be out of the bath, and you're not even meant to be in it.
that isn't. Yeah, sorry, no, that's just overtaken that other line. It's another one of those episodes in which the parent character who's not in it too much just gets all the
Gets the
calls.
zingers. Yeah.
For me, the undercurrent to this episode is Bandit kind of wants to play.
And that's what happens at the end,
kind
right?
of, he just he wants to keep it going because like you can tell in those moments where he's like, "Wow, that burger was really good." It's like he doesn't exactly want it to stop, and I think that comes back to just the general thing of like these kids are awesome. Like, I want to have this fun time, and like I know I should be, I'm trying to do this parenting thing and blah blah blah, but I'm also just having fun playing this game and getting sucked into the world.
And it's nice that he has the faith in the kids that maybe they will make the right decision. It's not saying that Chili doesn't, because I mean you can't blame Chili for going, "They're going to have too much fun with you, Dad." Maybe you're underestimating the amount of fun they're having, but it's also nice that Bandit is just thinking, "Oh no, give it a go,
Give him a chance."
Yeah, it does all come down to those setting boundaries, isn't it? So Chili's tried to say, look, the boundary is bed by 7 o'clock. And Bandit just can't follow that boundary.
Get
Make
there.
that work.
And I think to your point about the always wanting to play, that's the end. Right? They're out of the bath, he's drying them off. Boom, the hair goes up. Oh, we look like hedgehogs. Can we play hedgehogs? And P.S., before we go any further, tell me that's not a Sonic the Hedgehog reference. You've got one
looks
blue,
like it, doesn't
you've
it?
got one orange.
Yeah.
That's Sonic and Tails, right?
Yeah.
That's not just me?
Man.
No, I saw that too.
Cool. Good.
I'm ashamed that I didn't think of that.
Bonk.
But no, that maybe goes back to what I was saying last episode, where they homage to things, but not so heavily that you can't watch it a dozen times before you see it and go,
Sure.
"Oh, maybe it's nice in the mystery." Except the Indiana Jones ones; those are obvious to me.
Those ones are for you.
They're
Let's be
for
honest. There's not a lot of sort of doggy treats going around in this episode. I couldn't see a long dog or a tennis ball anywhere. Again, to your point about it being a bottle episode, it's pretty hard to work that stuff in. The one question I do have is the shampoo bottle that is in a lot of the shots. It's got a shark on it.
It's got a shark.
How
on it.
cool
I
is
love
that?
illustration.
Can you
It's so
imagine as a
good.
kid, you get, shampoo is not something that kids really care about or have too much say. They often shy away from it. "Oh, I don't want to wash my hair." But I'm telling you, as a kid, if my shampoo bottle had a shark on it, I'm using that sucker every night. Like,
I love the way that Bluey uses it as a microphone and then her voice changes to the monotone. The way she tilts it, I'm immediately back at the Hungry Jack's drive-through line. And like that, the microphone they had with a little button and just like, one thingy, please.
What is it
talking
about?
to at the side of your mouth?
Yeah, what is it about microphones and the kind of microphone it is in the kind of setting that automatically defaults any human to a certain rhythm? Like when you're in shopping centers, it's always the price check. It's like price check on it's always that. Like, can I have and then on planes, on airplanes, it's different. It's like a real sort of to be like really comforting, like when they're talking about
Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
yeah.
But when they're doing the safety thing, it's like
Except for the Air New Zealand ones.
now those are the exception to the rule. Correct. They're amazing.
They are
They're all
amazing.
directed by Peter Jackson.
My favourite was always fasten the seatbelt over your hips, low and tight. Really? Okay.
Peter Jackson. Well, I never.
If you would like to put your chair up into the single position, then I will be doing it shortly.
It's like they take everything that's sort of bad news and go,
But it's okay because we're going to do this.
Also, in terms of like tonal changes and breakdowns, I love, we've already talked about the bank costume. So we drop down below the water, we have the costume change, we come back up again.
so quick.
So
comedy
fast,
quick.
somehow. And then the music changes, so it changes to sort of plunky piano type, and the tone of voice changes, and the eye line changes, like the eyes go down to the sort of sleepy eyes. As she's being the bank manager who's going to give you money in the form of ducks for whatever you need. Because where does money come from, guys? I don't know, you can borrow some from a bank.
Hello.
And also, I made reference to it in my breakdown at the start, the idea of having the toys. And those bath toys, who had some of those bath toys?
Oh, the
with
wind-up ones.
with the little twisty thing.
And the fact that it not only
Wind-up
just
things, yeah.
gives a shout out to him, has them in the episode, but just zooms in on it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
has this
Close-up
thing like extreme close up of this hero bath toy, and the sound and everything. It's like they're hammering it home to the viewer that yes, this is the toy we're talking about. We know you all had them.
I also like Bingo in this episode. She doesn't get a lot to do. She's kind of but she's the engine room, right?
Oh, the return of the cook flip.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know,
that was
the
in there. That was great. I also love that in an effort to keep the game going, Ben is like, I don't have any money. Oh, that's all right. We'll do them for free. And Bingo, who's been slaving away over a hot stove, just goes, no way.
That's my money.
That's right.
It's our money.
Yeah, Bingo. There's something about the no way of Bingo is just
Also,
excellent.
Bingo's other good line is the wow when he just devours
Eats all the
burgers.
100
Just
burgers.
amazed.
$100
Well, maybe that's a callback to the last episode as well, when he's going, oh, I've got a problem with ice cream and I have to be good, and he's not. Maybe they know. They know a bit about their dad.
They know his weakness. See, it's all connected,
Food is a
Ali.
weakness.
But I say the return to the cook flip. But this episode does appear chronologically after Hammer Barn, because I don't know.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
episode 32 of season 2. Hammer Barn is sort of in that. What's like episode 2? It's early in season 2.
Nice one.
So yes,
Whew.
well done.
Thank you. I was genuinely worried.
The other thing I love about this episode is just the idea about which parent is a meanie.
Yeah. I don't want to be a meanie parent. Yeah.
And I think sort of in every parenting dichotomy, there's a fun parent and
the
there's
cool
not
parent.
parent.
Yeah.
Frank, who's a cool parent in yours?
Oh, that's not fair.
Because I'm just going to say,
Funny
That was a perler of a setup. Well done. I feel like you planned this whole thing.
yeah, funny.
Oh, man.
Okay, I plead the fifth because no matter what I say, I'm in trouble here.
Oh, man. It was a burning question and it came back with a non-answer. Oh, Ali, you're coming back.
because definitely like in our parenting, I am not the fun parent. I'm going to admit it. I'm the parent you go to.
Well, you're the fun podcast.
Well, I gotta be fun at something. But, I'm who gets, when you've had a bump and you need a cuddle or you're hungry,
Yeah.
come to mum. If you want fun, you go to Marty.
I'm the one who can pick you up and swing you around and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So that,
Again.
when you're tired and when you're hungry.
Yeah, mums are fixers, aren't they?
That's right.
I thought it was super interesting that Bandit was not only trying to be like, I'm the cool one, I'm letting you have the responsibility. Oh, but Mum's the meanie. Look, she's a meanie one there.
Yeah, he was kind of driving that. Just going, look, I don't want to be a meanie parent. And it's such a nice way of saying, look, I don't want to put my foot down and just be an authoritarian because I'm trying this, but I don't want to be a meanie parent. It's really nice when adults use kid language to try and get across their motive.
And then I just love, we've already talked about it, but the moment where it cuts to him in the bath. So now he's just suddenly become complicit in the entire thing. It's like completely absorbed into it. And you already said the line, Frank, of like, and you're not even meant to be in it, which sort of draws attention to that.
Brilliant.
It's so nice.
And then even at that point, even when he's been busted, he's been coerced into the bath, he still believes they can make the right decision. And when they don't, that's enough to snap him back into full parent mode and go, right, that's it, I'm pulling the plug. And then it's just wrestling and just, I love it. And if you watch closely in that moment when they start wrestling with him, one of the letters flings high up on the wall and it does like a pickle you would be in a burger, funny enough, just starts slowly sliding down the wall.
Perfect.
Like, beautiful.
But once again, Ali, thanks for being in the room with us crazy gents.
My pleasure.
No.
Amazing as always.
No, the pleasure's all ours.
All ours.
I promise you.
Well, I did throw a lot of shade, so.
Okay, the pleasure was all mine.
Hey, Marty, we've really got to stop having people named Ali on this show. Just for you and my benefit.
For a little break. Just a little break.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon it's just about bath time.
Tub 300?
Left at the soft towels.
If you hit the slip and slide, you've gone too far.
Look, we didn't plan that, but let's go with it.
Created and produced by Frank Brennan and Marty. You can follow the Hammerbarn Project on facebook.com/HammerbarnProj, at HammerbarnProj on Twitter, or Hammerbarn_project on Instagram. Theme featuring Nibblings, Kaylee, Jade, Ashley, and Ree, and PA announcements by brother-in-law, me, Josh. Thanks for listening, and remember to get down to Hammerbarn for cheap shovels.